Walking Through Human Acts, Words and Bodies in Unfinished Time. Consolidated Edition. Trailer Death Arrived Before Language. In May 1980, in Gwangju, bodies appeared on streets near the provincial government building before any explanation was given. They lay on roads near sidewalks, and in places where people had gathered only hours earlier. Shoes, bags, and personal belongings remained beside them. These scenes existed before language arrived to frame them. At the same time, national buzz, television and radio described the city in different terms. Reports spoke of disorder, external instigation, and the need to restore control. Images showed soldiers in formation and officials delivering statements. Words arrived quickly, smoothing and organizing what was being seen elsewhere. Human Acts does not begin with those broadcasts. It begins with a boy standing among bodies in a gymnasium, checking lists and moving between rows. The narrative stays close to floors, hands, names, and positions. Death is not explained, it is placed. Prologue. Gwangju, May 1980. Gwangju in May 1980 was a city of ordinary roots. People moved between homes, schools, markets, factories, and offices along familiar streets. Public buildings stood at the center of these movements, passed daily without special notice. Under expanded emergency powers, civilian administration withdrew and military command governed the city. Decisions were issued as orders rather than explained publicly. The city was sealed and movement was controlled. The novel enters this moment not through summaries but through specific spaces. Gymnasiums where bodies were laid, streets where people stopped and waited, rooms where lists were written and checked. Time is measured by repetition rather than announcements. The city appears through what remains in place. Episode 1, The Boy Who Stayed. A middle school boy stayed near the provincial government building. He remained around a gymnasium where bodies from nearby streets were brought. Inside, bodies lay in rows on the floor, their positions shifting as more arrived. The boy moved between the entrance, the lists, and the bodies. Soldiers beat and killed civilians on the streets. Bodies appeared in public spaces. With the city sealed, civilians already inside gathered the dead and carried them in. The boy is described through his actions, checking names, carrying small items, guiding people searching for someone. His movements repeat within a limited space. The narration stays with floors, hands, names, and positions. Episode 2, Those Under Orders. Soldiers were placed on streets and intersections, standing and moving in formation. They carried batons and guns. Their movements followed commands. On the streets, civilians were beaten and shot. Bodies remained where they fell. These acts occurred in public view. National news framed the situation as restoring order. The killings did not appear. In the novel, soldiers have no individual faces or inner lives. They appear as groups acting under orders. Responsibility disperses across the formation. Episode 3, How They Were Killed. Civilians were killed with bayonets, batons, and gunfire. Some were stabbed, some beaten, some shot. These deaths occurred on ordinary streets. Human Acts records these acts without decoration. Tools and injuries are named. The narration does not turn away from how killing was done. Orders moved faster than explanations, and the results remained on the ground. Episode 4, Carrying the Bodies. Bodies were left on streets with no officials to collect them. Civilians lifted them with their hands and arms, using cloth, doors, and boards. Bodies were carried into gymnasiums and halls, placed in rows. Hands returned to the streets and came back again. News reports spoke of stabilization. The work of carrying the dead did not appear. The novel follows lifting, walking, and placing quietly and repeatedly. Episode 5, Those Who Survived and Witnessed. Some people survived while witnessing deaths at close range. They saw people beaten, falling, and carried away beside them. They continued living in the same city, walking the same streets. What they saw did not appear in broadcasts. In the novel, they speak as witnesses, describing what they saw and where they stood. Feelings are not explained, but presence remains. Episode 6, Truths Kept Captive. Roads were sealed. Voices and facts could not leave the city. Screams, impacts, and orders were heard inside, but did not travel outward. National news delivered a different account. In the novel, truth remains attached to rooms, corridors, streets, and floors. It exists as what was seen and heard when nothing could pass outward. Episode 7, Obedience Without Faces. Soldiers moved together, faces covered, names unused. Commands were followed immediately. Speech appeared as orders rather than conversation. Obedience is written without individual detail. Identical movements produce repeated outcomes. The absence of faces allows violence to continue. Episode 8, after the violence stopped. Visible violence slowed and stopped. Streets grew quiet, but control remained. Soldiers stayed, checkpoints stayed, movement stayed limited. Bodies were gone, but marks remained. News spoke of normalization. The novel writes this period as continuation rather than closure. Violence changed form and stayed present. Epilogue. What still remains with us? Human acts does not resolve what happened. Lives continue with something unfinished. May 1980 overlaps with the present. What remains is responsibility to remember, to speak carefully, and to record what was seen. The boy does not return, but the fact that he was there remains.